All right. So yeah, we talked about importing the terrain model. We talked about how to see the properties over here from the bigger property menu. We can also modify the feature. So right now, as you see, I have it as existing boundary. Say this is some kind of proposed terrain. We can choose a proposed terrain feature. It just really modifies how it looks. We can also specify the edge method. So we can use the max triangle length or max edge length if we want to trim it down. We can talk about these more later on, but this is just really how it's interpolating between the different points. Are you guys familiar with those? A little bit. So do you know how the computer sees a terrain?
I assume that it just takes the shortest point between, or the shortest length between 2 points.
Pretty much, yeah. So say you have 2 points, right? You can connect between them with a line because you know X, Y, and Z of each point. Now, if you have 3, you form the triangle, right? And then you put a 4th, then you connect to a 4th one with a new triangle. Now you have 2 triangles next to each other. And then you just have thousands of points, and now you have thousands of triangles. And that's kind of how it sees the surface. It doesn't see like a round circular surface like how we see in real life. Kind of like pixels in a picture, right? If you zoom in a lot, you just see squares or dots. This is how it kind of sees the terrain. So the max edge length method, for example, it specifies, you can specify a length of, okay, how far do I want my terrain to look for points? So you can see here now it's interpolating between this point and all the way here, which is really far. In real life, these are not connected to each other. Like those triangles do not exist in real life. So
should we trim those, delete those triangles that are way out there?
You can either delete them or specify a shorter length. So 50 is usually a good starting point. So if I did 50, you see now it trimmed it down a lot, which is now a little bit closer to what I want. So yeah, the smaller this is, I use a 10. I mean, it might become way too choppy like this. Also, you don't want that. So usually I just recommend 100. 100 is fine. Yeah, 100 looks good. The other method is slivers. Sliver kind of works a little bit different. I don't know the mechanism exactly, to be honest. But you can also see here, like, it also triangulates to far away points as well. So it's not like it doesn't give you much control of how to really clean it up. So I usually use the max edge length, honestly. Just use 100 and just call it a day.
And you mentioned being able to delete the triangles. How does that work?
Yes. So let's see, for example. All right, so if you go to the terrain tab, there's a tool over here called Edit Model. You can click on that. Then it pulls up this bar over here, the taskbar. You can see here, this is the first one is deleting a vertex, so you can delete a point or delete a triangle. swap a line, or you just like drag a line and just deletes all the triangles in the way. You can insert all that stuff. So this is really just how you can manipulate it. So, I mean, we can test it out. For example, here, say I want to delete this one, this triangle. I can just click accept, and now it's gone. So you can notice here, every time I turn on or do something to modify, it goes back to the default view, which is just the boundary, and there's nothing, like the triangles are turned off. If I want to keep the triangles on, I just change the feature definition to existing triangles. This way, I mean, even if I delete something and manipulate it, whatever I do, it'll still keep it on. So say I want to delete this. Now it got deleted. So, and I still have my triangles on. Of course, this is the surveyor's file, so I wouldn't really touch this. I'll just create like a save as and do it there.
If you wanted to add, like if you wanted it to connect from, how do I explain this? Like, so you have like that chunk taken out. If you needed that space and it wasn't connecting, would you recommend just increasing the max length, or is there a way to like make 2 points connect without manipulating the entire?
So if you don't have anything, that means you don't have survey here, right? So you're trying to create an existing ground based off of no real data. So if you do, you can use what I would do sometimes is increase the max edge length, the max triangle length. But you got to keep in mind that this would not be a real elevation in this part, because you don't have elevation points. It's triangulating too.
That's a good point. It's knowing your terrain is very, very flat out there, and you just trying to do a visualization of it.
Exactly. Sometimes you're just trying to show the right of way.
Yeah. But I think the other thing too is your design, your survey is only going to be as good as you ask for. And I think
Yeah.
you said take shots every 100 feet. Then I think we need to tell them maybe every 50 feet when you get toward the intersection, or maybe every 25 feet.
Yeah.
So that your shots get more defined. Because 100 foot could go across the intersection unless you specify all curb returns, radii, and edge of pavements at intersections.
Yeah.
That way you get the triangles that you really need.
I guess
Especially-
like, sorry.
Go ahead.
Because I guess I'm just asking this because like, obviously I'm gonna go back and use this 10 now that I was doing something wrong, but I was using like the survey points basically to create my own terrain file. Which I understand is not ideal.
Yeah.
But like I was going through and doing it and it would change which ones it was connecting to, for example, like each time I ran. So like there was chunks that were like taken out and then I needed to like keep rerunning it until it looked better.
Yeah, ideally you shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
Just talk to your surveyor
Okay.
and tell them send me a tin file. Trying to get my work
So
done
just
here.
don't do that. Okay.
Yeah, because that's usually the surveyor's part.
Yeah.
They get the points, then they clean them up, because they might get points, for example, say a light pole or something, because of their LiDAR, whatever it is. They clean up anything that looks abnormal outside of their existing ground. So honestly, I wouldn't, like, if it was me, I would not do that unless I'm absolutely desperate. And sometimes I would do it on like a site development project, you know, if it's a small site development like an acre, surveyor doesn't have capabilities to send me a tin file, I'll just do that. Convert the elevations to surface. But I mean, seems like you've learned something new at least.
A skill that I don't want to have.
All right, so this is it in terms of terrains. Any other questions? I mean, of course, there's a lot of other tools here. There's creating from point clouds, by text, interpolation, from ASCII. We probably use this one, right? The ASCII file.
Oh no, I went to like top right, hit survey instead of open roads modeling.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. At least now you have some survey and engineering skills.
This doesn't work out.
Sometimes that stuff that used to be pretty good when they would ask for you to give them a blue top report, maybe you had names. Like,
Mhm.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna save my existing terrain. This is it for now. We can move on to the next topic.
If I remember correctly, there's a save button up there. Microsession does save automatically, but it's not.
It does, yeah. Yeah, it saves every like minute or less, even about every 30 seconds. You can specify if you want in the settings also.
You can leave without having to save anything.
Yeah, yeah. Once you leave, it saves and then leaves. It doesn't just leave.
Even the ORD features.
Yeah, yeah, everything.
So is ORD separate than MicroStation, or is it one whole entity now?
It's just one. I mean, they still do sell the MicroStation package separate, like as a standalone software. But here you have both. You have everything, the ORD, and you have a lot more than just even ORD. You have survey, geotech, reality modeling, visualization. You got a lot of tools. You can do like a 3D rendering with this. So, all right, let's create a new file now, and this will be the alignment. So now instead of a 3D seed file, I use a 2D seed file. This will be alignment. All right, I'm gonna reference in the existing terrain. As you see now, it looks exactly the same, but this is referenced in. It's not really active in here. So as you notice here, I have to set it active every time I reference it in. So that's something that becomes a habit after a while. Also, I'm gonna rotate it.
So you're in a 2D file right now?
Right now I'm in a
thing in a 3D file, right?
Yeah, I'm referencing a 3D file exactly. I'm gonna rotate it just to, you know, have more screen width. Save settings. And I'm gonna show you what happens when I click activate when I'm in a 2D file. I'm gonna open this and I'm gonna open this at the same time. See those two windows? This is the references dialog, and then this is the models. As soon as I hit activate, see what happened? Now it created a 3D model and it created a 3D reference as well. And how it's working is, you see the models here. I can switch between them. So right now I'm in 3D and I can see things in 3D even, like I can rotate in the Z.
Did it swap your files? Is that what it did? Did you go, or are you still in the same
No,
file?
I'm still in the same file.
It just changed window views.
Yeah, I just changed window views, and now if you notice here on this view, I cannot rotate in the Z. Like it only rotates X and Y. It just rotates the plane, but it doesn't show me the Z. So what's happening is there's a 2D model and a 3D model, and it's referencing the 3D model to the 2D model. Okay.
No way, when you click on anything, you're not gonna get a Z elevation.
You can get it, but I'll show you.
No, just for general purposes. I mean, if I click on it, I'm just gonna see X and Y's like on your screen right now.
Can't you see it in the properties window?
You can see XY if you click on the analyze, for example. So there's a tool here called analyze point. I click on any point in the terrain, I can get a Z. See,
Oh, okay.
see the elevation. This is good if you're reviewing a model or somebody gives you something, or you're trying to get an elevation somewhere. You just click on this tool and, you know, use an elevation anywhere on the terrain. But I cannot rotate in the Z, that's all.
That was always hard for me, dude. Always hard.
Yeah. So usually we do everything in 2D, all of our design, all of our everything we do, really. 3D is just to look at it, just to see a pretty picture. That's it. All right, so next step, just let me turn on. This is something also, when you reference the terrain, it grays out all these options. But if you double click on this, override symbology, now they're all on. So I can turn on my triangles again. So I'm gonna draw a alignment right now. I go to geometry. Under the lines, under the horizontal geometry here, click on the lines. Okay. Can choose a feature definition, depending on what I'm doing. Let's say I'm doing a driveway, frontage road, whatever it is. Choose a. This is just a feature. It's just the color of it, how it's gonna look, and the line style and stuff.
No, just a quick question. So you're gonna draw this alignment.
Mhm.
If you're gonna do some side work on the intersecting roads, you can choose the same one, or is there feature definition for intersecting roads?
There is one for intersection
Okay.
here, intersecting road.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah. This is really just to control your levels. Like,
So all of this is from TxDOT. They create all of this?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This is like this is how it looks just out of the box, the textile workspace.
Okay.
So say I want to start right here. I'm just eyeballing here. So I get to here. This is my first tangent. Create another tangent somewhere here. Third tangent right here. And the direction of drawing things is very important as well. So say these are my 3 tangents, okay? These lines that I'm drawing in, these are different than microstation lines. These, now they call them smart geometry. So they're not your typical, you know, I cannot just do copy, move using the regular tools. With these, since these are more meant for alignments and, you know, more important geometries, they have their own like manipulators. So you see this dot in the middle, I can click on it and I can move this alignment using it. Or say I want to extend, there's a triangle at the very end of it. I can click on that and I can extend. Or
I was using this, like making a centerline file and like
Mhm.
drawing it, like just
using
regular line.
microstation, yeah,
Is that okay too?
that's fine. Yeah. So you can always use these tools as well, the microstation lines. So if you notice, if I draw a line here, what is the difference between this microstation line? This one only has those two handles. Doesn't have the bearing, it doesn't have any of the manipulators that we saw. Whereas this one, you can see it, like it has the bearing, the length, and the manipulators, and it has a different look. So say I want to convert this microstation line to this, or this to this, you can go between the two. So if I want to convert this microstation line to an open roads line, under geometry, you can create civil rule feature over here. And choose the feature definition that you want. Say I want to do driveway, or say frontage road. Click on the line, reset, and that's it. I've converted this to open road smart line.
Create civil definition, is that what it's called?
Create civil rule, yeah.
Create civil.
Yeah, or set, where is it?
See, that's where I think it's important for me, because what she
Set
was saying,
feature
I would draw lines, right, and then I would do a construct fillet. Now we
Yeah.
do what kind of curve I want. I wanted a 2689 foot curve.
Yeah.
And I would do that, and then convert that.
Yeah, you can do that.
But,
It's more intuitive, I feel, when you use the microstation lines and then you convert them. Like, I don't know, like I just like using the microstation line. It feels like I have more control over them.
It's also less finicky.
It's a lot less finicky, yeah. Of course, it comes with its own issues, which we can talk about in a bit.
so you said direction makes a difference, and I
Yeah.
assume it's gonna be because of stationing. It's left to right.
Exactly. So how you draw your
left
line.
to right, draw left to right.
Yeah, so let me show you this. I drew these lines left to right, correct?
Yeah.
Now I want to see the profile of the existing ground at that line. If I click on that line and hover over it, you see this open profile model? That's how I open the profile. It tells me just to open a view. I just click inside the view and there we go. You will notice something. You see those arrows? This is pointing in the direction I drew it in. I drew it left to right, it's showing me everything left to right. Now look what happens if I do the opposite. I drew this right to left, and I open the profile for the one at the bottom. You see how the arrows are pointing the other way? Now the arrows are going right to left.
Even though the page is still left to right, it's actually drawn from that side this way.
Yeah. So your direction of how you draw this matters. So you see now my 0 is right here. See the bottom stationing over here?
But just for reference, remind us, what is the rule of thumb? Not the rule, the practice is north to south, the stationing increases going south, and east to west. Do you know the? I mean, are you
The
familiar?
rule of thumb is the opposite. Rule of thumb is south to north and west to east.
Really?
Yeah. That's the default. But
No, not default. You talk about in transportation?
Yeah.
South to north.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All I-35 work is increasing from Round Rock going south.
True.
Yeah. I mean, really, it depends who set it up, honestly. Because why do you want to do that? Because you want your north arrow to point right on your sheet. If you do north to south, then your north arrow points left, right? Yeah, points left. So you want your north arrow to point either right or point up.
Right, that used to be when people lay plans on the table.
Yeah.
I got you.
You guys want to take a break?
No, I'm
Oh.
fine. You go. Just okay.
Okay. So I guess we'll take a break at 10. We'll do like a 10-15 minute break. So yeah, this is how I got my tangents. Now we talked about the direction, how to convert. We're gonna create two alignments, one created using the converting a microstation line to an alignment, and the other way. So I got my tangents, now I want to create fillets, right? The horizontal curves. How do I do that? Under horizontal geometry, arcs, you go to arc between elements, and then just do a simple arc. Now I select my tangents. And I specify what radius I want to use. So maybe we'll use, it looks the existing is around, what is that? 1500, say. Okay. Accept that. And then this asks me, do you want to trim and extend? So the one on the left, I want to trim it, and the one on the right, I want to extend it. So I'll just do both. And there we go. Now we have created our horizontal curve. Okay. Do something similar right here as well. The arc. Click on my two tangents. And this one looks a little bit smaller or bigger, sorry. Maybe do 2000.
Are you aware of a rule of thumb about links and stuff like that, like go to the nearest 20 foot or just even number? Sometimes I'm looking at plans and I see really squirrely radii.
Yeah.
That don't make sense. Like,
Yeah,
why not
usually.
just make it 180 instead of 178.2 whatever?
Yeah, sometimes you're limited by your right of way. So you're kind of forced to use very specific radiuses. But I mean, usually you would want to be at least in the
If you just make it 2 more feet.
like in the 10-foot interval at least, you know, like don't give me like a 1529. Like just make it 130, like you know, 1530. Also, it depends on if it's a reconstruction or a new construction. So if it's like an existing alignment, you're trying to guess what the existing is. Anyways, we created our horizontal curve. And now you notice like we have different pieces. Like the alignment is formed of different pieces. But I want the whole thing to be like a complex. So how do I do that? Complex geometry. So go to complex by element. And we choose the method as automatic. Really all it does is just detects what's linked to each other. That's all. I choose a feature definition again, baseline. And then click on the first element. Accept. And that is it. Now we have a single complex, start to end. Cool. Last thing is specifying a start station. So right now, my alignment, if I go to the profile view, it's starting at 0, 0. But I want it to start, say, at 100 plus 0, 0 or 10 plus 0, 0. So I go to the modify tools and there's a start station tool right here. So as you notice, so far we've only used lines, arcs, and modify and complex. These 4, you'll probably that's probably what you're going to use 90% of the time. The rest of the tools, they're geometry manipulation tools, but honestly, you don't get to use them too much. Start station. I locate the element, and I'm telling it start at the beginning of the alignment, which is 0. And the start station, say, is 10 plus 0, 0. Okay. And I accepted that. Now, look what happened. Now you can see here, this is at 10 plus 0, 0. Also, remember that tool that I told you about, how you can analyze anything? Click on it again, and you can click on the alignment, and you can see here, it's station 10 plus 0, 0. And as I move it, you can, I can get a station offset using this tool as well. So this tool can analyze anything you click on at the model, literally anything. So got my alignment, I got my stationing right, I got everything I need. Now I just want to see my annotation, right? Next step is just seeing the annotation. Annotation is done using the drawing production. So if I go to drawing production, element annotation, and locate element, reset to complete. That's it.
A question on this.
Mhm.
Is there a way to set the text style to say have a mask behind it or whatever on this? Because we
Yeah,
ran into that the other day.
yeah. I'll show you how.
So question is, so this alignment
Mhm.
stationing is in this file. This might be centerline file.
Mhm.
I get into what happens when when I'm in my plan sheet and I want to move that POT because it's in the way and I want to move it down. Does it affect anything on this sheet or is it done in the production sheet, cut sheet as text? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, you do it here. So
Yeah.
say it's overlapping with something on one sheet, but it's not on the other.
Yeah.
Right? That's a situation where you got to figure out what would work on both sheets. So say I move it here. Now it moved on both sheets.
Okay.
Say you don't want that. You want it to show a certain way on each sheet. That would get into having to create a alignment annotation file. Right now I'm annotating the alignment in the same file. You can create two different files, especially if you have different scales also. Although you can do it using here, like if you go.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Freaking 50 scales, textiles or 50, 20, 40 different scales.
Yeah, you see it right here
Or,
at the top right where my mouse is.
yes.
Right now, this text size is being determined based off of 100, 1 to 100 scale. And the annotation scale lock is on. So if I were to change this to 1 to 50, it reduces the text size. So if I want to create 1 to 50 sheets, I change this and then I cut my sheets and I'm good to go. But say I have two different scales, right? That's where it gets a bit tricky.
Well, I guess what the question is, I got 100 sheets for PNPs.
Mm-hmm.
For project layouts, I got 200 scale.
Yeah.
Are you saying that all can exist? Like when I cut the project layout sheets,
Mm-hmm.
whatever scale was set at that time when I cut the sheets is what that text is going to be at?
Yeah.
Okay, and it
Yeah,
remains.
because you're gonna create a container file, right?
I forgot about all that stuff, but the
Okay.
name's familiar.
Yeah.
So I'll stop there.
Okay. We're gonna get into that in this training, maybe by tomorrow.
Sorry from asking too many.
No.
No, you're
Okay.
good. Yeah, it's good to see. Since you've been in the plan review for so long, it's good to see how it is on the other side.
What's that?
I'm saying since you've been in plan review for so long, it's good to see like the backside of these.
I feel like an old dog.
No, man, this is pretty.
When I started
This
this
is
stuff
pretty
out,
new
when
for
I started
everybody,
this stuff
actually.
out back in the day, we typed our commands in.
Yeah,
And we,
probably annotated this manually
I still
even.
do that. I use it sometimes.
yeah,
There's like the key in feature
Yes.
that's at the bottom.
Mhm.
And I don't know where the extend button is, but I type in extend all the time because I don't know where it is.
Yeah, so they're good at hiding. I mean,
It's probably somewhere in
it's
there.
either
I
in the
just don't have
7,
it.
extend line is under the 7, or from the top, but yeah. All right, so let's keep this at 1 to 100 just so we can see it better. And I mean, if you want full control, you can create different files and annotate the alignment. You can reference the alignment, right? It's just one file where the alignment lives out. Then you can annotate it to different scales in multiple files. You can do like a file for 1 to 100, or you can do the same file but different levels even. It depends how you want to set it up. All right, so I want to change this. Okay. I want to change my radii. You can see right here. This is the radius that I used. So I want to do 1800. See, updated my annotation and it updated my geometry, just like that, on the go, on the fly.
That update in the alignment annotation files automatically as well, or?
You just have to open the file. That's it.
And then it would
It would
update.
refresh, you know. You might have to re-annotate. Sometimes it glitches, but usually it shouldn't. It should automatically annotate, re-annotate. What else? Okay, so now let's do the microstation way and see the difference. Okay, like right now, when I change the radius, everything is still tangent, everything is still working how it's supposed to work. Let's do the other way. I draw microstation lines. And I'm just gonna have it parallel to that one. Here, instead of using I'm just gonna use the circular fillet tool. This is what you're used to seeing, maybe. 1500 as well. Both. Gonna use the same one on both, that's okay. So those are microstation lines. I go to geometry, create civil rules. So there's two things to this. I can complex this right away, okay? I can just go to complex, choose a feature definition. Of course, the direction, I don't know if you noticed this, but when I click on this, you see how there's an arrow that points me. This is also the direction how it's gonna get complexed. So I can complex it like this, but if you notice, when I click on it, you know those, a thing that allows me to type in the radius, type in all that stuff, it's no longer there. That's the issue, because it just converted it directly to a complex. But I can get around that also and use the civil rule feature and say I select all my elements, reset. Now each of them has like the civil rules, and then I complexed it. Now I do have the manipulators and all that, but
Wait, was there 2 steps there you did?
yeah, so
You,
I either complexed it right away,
okay.
or I applied the civil rules. Remember the one that
That's what I
converts?
saw, right.
Yeah, and then I complexed it. Now, what is the issue with this? If I were to change this to something a little bit extreme, just so you guys can see this, maybe 3000. You guys saw that? It's not tangent anymore over here.
Was it making it?
Yeah. On the other one, it changed my PT points, pushed them out further. Here it didn't. Here, look what happens. See that? Like it's still maintaining the PT where they are, which is why I would say I wouldn't recommend doing alignments with this. Once you get into bigger projects, of course, there is more nuisances that you need to be aware of. So when I created my alignment, the one at the bottom, I used, the regular smart lines and everything is good, right? But here I only have like 3 tangents. Not a big deal. I wanted to modify it. There's a thing called the table editor. It's right here. It's like a pencil. You can click on it, and I can see a table where I can modify all my geometry from here as well. Okay. Once the alignment becomes really big, the table editor stops working. It's always
What's big to you? I mean, 5 miles?
big, yeah. Anything over a mile, I would say.
So table editor purposes to be able to change there as well, the radii if you
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah, you can do it there too.
And that will change the tangents, the PCs to where they need to be, all
Yeah.
that.
I'll say it's not about the length, it's really more about how complicated your geometry is. So sometimes you might have a sidewalk, right? We have projects that are like a sidewalk, very simple project, a mile maybe, but there's probably 100 curves and 100, tangents. So you try to use this table editor and it doesn't work, and it's always a pain. So how do we get around that? It's honestly just came from trial and error, but I figured out that if I do a complex by PI, okay, use this tool. What this does is allows me to draw a complex directly. Okay. I drew the complex directly. And then I use the table editor to insert the radiuses, for example, 1500 here, 1500 here. Hit apply. Didn't take it. What's happening?
I don't know if you put it in the spiral, does it go in the radius column?
Oh, I put it in the spiral. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's why. Then let me just Control Z that. Also, I need to give it a feature definition. Let me just delete it. So I can choose the feature definition from here. So like this. All right, table editor. Oh yeah, you're right. 1500, 1500. The nice thing about it is you can see like a ghost before you hit apply. So you see how it shows you that yellow. Before I hit apply, I can close this and it doesn't save it. But if I wanted to actually save the changes, it just allows me to see it before I actually save it. Hit apply. All right.
So apply saves it. Is what you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah. Like it applies the changes that you typed in. So when I use this method, I usually never have issues with the table editor not working, however long the project is, because we had a project, textile project. It was a sidewalk. It was around 2.5 miles, but it was like very urban, and that sidewalk alignment was a pain, and we were changing it like every single day. One of the issues we had was the table editor thing. So we really, like, even though we had hundreds of points, hundreds of PIs, we just went back and recreated it using the complex by PI. It is, I mean, maybe for a day, but it just saves us a lot of headache later on. So these are the things that you run into and you wouldn't really necessarily like understand why they're happening. I still don't understand why it doesn't work if I'm just using, a line and an arc, but anyways, I hope they fix that. But this is a temporary solution for now. Cool. So now we've learned alignment, terrain. I guess we can take a break for like 10-15 minutes and then we can do the profiles and then corridors. I know it's a lot of information for just a morning, but
Very helpful.
this is being recorded, so you can come back to it and really
One
review.
point I wanted to cover when we get back is, I used to make use of a function that was offset, the alignment was 32 feet left of the baseline, and I could put a point there and store a point there for my next alignment, my intersection alignment. But it would be a perpendicular line from the alignment. I could set points and lines straight off the alignment, and it was like DP offset or something.
Yeah, so yeah, we can talk about that. Like the AccuDraw, you mean, right?
No, it wasn't AccuDraw. It was something called DP offset.
Okay, yeah, the one in Geopack, yeah.
Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. I don't know.
It does not, but there's I'll show you. Remind me about this again.
I don't want to take her away from what she's doing right now.
No, it's okay. I mean, that'll be helpful to her as well. So let me pause this or stop this recording.
I came here to review site and subdivision plans. So everything's local.